Hey all, and welcome back to Fuzzy Ducksy Gaming and more continuation on the Laid Back Exile series. So as I had a lot of farming and testing to do, it made sense to merge a few days together, and it just made it a bit easier over the holiday period to get a decent video out. It was meant to cover episodes 10 to 12, but we had a wasted day because I decided to go and try and farm the conquerors and kill A8 Sirus with my crap gear, and it didn't work, but we'll come on to that later. So the episode actually covers days 10 to 13. Now the video is slightly different in format, and I'm just going to talk through the goals and results, and then we'll cut in and out of footage. And then at the end, there'll be showcase footage of the last map I did, which for anyone interested, it's a T16 corrupted map. It's got a blighted counter in it. It's also got Zana in the map who offers a T16 guardian map that we go and complete as well. So as summarized in the last video, these are the goals for the build to hopefully make it A8 viable. I think even when we get all this gear, it's still going to be probably a slow kill, but I think it's certainly going to be doable. So day one was just farming harvest and some maps to try and get some decent crafts, some essences, and then start making our way through these gear upgrades. Whilst also farming some lower tier Scourge maps to get some fusings to 6-link the chest. As previously mentioned, day two, I foolishly decided to do the next round of Conquerors, do the Sirus influence maps, and then take on A8 Sirus. I actually went deathless through the rounds of Conquerors, which was surprising, but the maps did take quite a long time. And essentially the whole day was taken up killing the Conqueror rotation and attempting Sirus. And the time definitely would have been better spent farming, but I wanted to know how short I was in terms of damage. I also had this stupid voice in my head telling me I could do it. I did end up abandoning Sirus, as it would have taken well over half an hour to do, because even the first phase was taking a couple of minutes, and that's without him teleporting around and doing various different things. So there was just no point wasting that sort of time farming it. And in all honesty, I should have probably done it on A5, and I think I could have completed it. So we moved on from that. Day three was then farming, again, yellow tier maps in Haywalk Hamlet to get some essences, get some harvest crafts, and then just farm any maps that I had to try and drop a bone helmet. We do actually drop a bone helmet in the very last map, which is luckily the showcase. Also got insanely lucky crafting the helmet with some bound and pristine fossils, which will show in the gear section. So POE for the end of day 13 is in the description. I did manage to kill a couple of guardians on my way through farming, and it was fairly smooth, and we also had some decent drops which we can use in the future. So in regards to our goals, we did get that astral plate 6-linked eventually, but there was a few failed attempts, so I did spend longer in the low tier Scourge maps than I'd have liked. I had a Stygian Vase drop, which I crafted, which is fairly decent. Got a Vermilion ring, a better wand, some armor boots, a decent armor shield, the really good bone helmet, and then the 6-link astral plate. Some of the gear needs blessing orbs, which we'll go into in the next episode, so there's not much more I'm really aiming for now to just start farming. So we will come onto the gear and the skill tree in more detail in a bit, and I'll try and explain why I've picked any masteries that appear on the tree. So the character itself is now level 91. Got combined life and energy shield of 7.5k. I've got 850 life regen when moving and 26k armor when flasks are up. Atlas completion is up to 74, which is pretty decent. And then gems are starting to hit 20 for the most part. So we'll be flipping these and then getting them leveled. It'll be another nice boost to DPS. Now that we've got a decent +2 helmet, I'm going to start leveling an animate guardian gem to put in the +2 helmet. And the spectres can live in there. And we'll try and craft some sort of cheap animate guardian depending on what gear we have drop in the next few episodes. So we'll go and move on and look at the gear. So the wand is just a cast speed wand that I had drop. It had minion damage on it. So then we've crafted, sorry, this isn't a drop. This is an essence crafted wand. We just crafted minion damage and then we bench craft attack and cast speed. The shield is really high life, it's got decent resistances, and at just short of 1k armor, it's not too bad. I know there's much better shields we can craft if we're going to go for an armor base, but at the moment this fits the bill really well. Here's the bone helmet that I crafted. I think it was on my very first resonator we crafted this. So it's a +2 minion gems helmet. It's got good max life, cold resistance, chaos resistance, and it had an open prefix so I can craft +1 to zombies and skeletons. The chest we've seen in previous episodes is a life chest. Hasn't got any resistances on it, but it's got strength, which is important. And then we've got 10% max life as extra energy shield. So the 6 link I'm running with for mapping is melee fizz, melee splash, multi-strike, minion damage, summon skeletons or vile summon skeletons, and then brutality. And then for single target, I'll swap in ruthless for melee splash. The amulet is one of the items that we still need to replace, but it's good enough at the moment. It's got a tiny bit of energy shield, it's got life, and it's got a little bit of resistances, and it's got some dexterity that we need. Now there is might crafted on this, which is plus 30 strength. That was because I needed it to actually be able to put this chest on. Don't really need that anymore, so we'll definitely be looking to farm a better amulet and then get an anoint. This ring we've had since pretty early days, I think the first 2 maps we were running, so this can definitely be replaced, but it does the job at the moment. The gloves I've had since around Act 8, they're just a lot of life, essentially. Again, this is something we'll look to replace. The Stygian Vise, although it's lacking in resistances, it's really high life, and a Stygian Vise is what I want because I want to slot a minion gem in there, which at the moment is not brilliant. It's increased movement speed and a bit of life. And then the boots are okay. They're pretty good resistances, max movement speed, and the life definitely could be better. But for now, it's absolutely fine. And then we're just running a granite flask for extra armor, a quartz flask because it can be really awkward with the minion build getting stuck between enemies. We're enduring mana flask. I'm not sure I need it, but I think I'm going to keep it for now just in case. And then we've got a quicksilver, which has also got increased armor during flask effect. And then our life flask is just instant recovery when on low life, which works a bit better than the normal instant flask because we've got quite a high life pool. Those instant flasks don't do a huge amount. And that covers the gear. The tree, I'm not going to go through too much because looking at POE Ninja, pretty much everyone goes a similar route. We've gone up here to get minion sort of protection life resistances. We've taken +8 to max elemental resistances for minions to make them a bit more tanky. We pick up some chaos res and reduce curse effect. And we also take corrupted blood. So with our pantheons, what I'm aiming to do is get the 30% reduced effect curses on us. Then with these here, which is 6, 6, and 18, that gives us a really decent chunk of reduced effect to the point where you shouldn't really have to worry about curses too much, which will really help when rolling maps. And apart from that, it's just lots of minion nodes, lots of life nodes. We do go up here. I'm not 100% sure whether these nodes are good or not. They're basically increased armor, bit of life, and life regen. And then we're taking determination, mana reservation efficiency, just to make mana a bit more manageable. But again, I'm not 100% sure I need it. And then in terms of life masteries, we're taking vitality reservation, 2% life regen when moving, and 50% plus max life. Once I pick up a cluster jewel, I'll probably drop a few of the masteries and maybe some of these nodes here, because we definitely want to try and fit in some cluster jewels to boost up the DPS. This will all be included in the POB anyway. So that covers the gear and the tree. We're in a much, much better position than we were before we started this farming session. And I'm really happy where things are. I think in terms of gear upgrades, we've gone through what we need. We definitely need a ring, some gloves, and an amulet, and then some decent minion jewels. So before we close the video, I'll just show the currency tab and a few other items that we had drop during the farming session. So in terms of loot, along with the gear already shown, I've had 2 synthesis maps drop, got 1 guardian map, got a couple of delirium orbs, 112 simulacrum splinters, and then we managed to find a blizzard crown. Not much good for this build, but if I decide to do a different build, that could really come in handy. And then we had a high item level 2 stone ring redeemer drop. Again, not sure I would use it in this build, but it's handy to have. In terms of currency, we've got 3x now. Chaos is down quite a bit because I've had to do a bit of recrafting on gear in terms of resistances to fit in the new helmet and the chest. A couple of divine orbs, and then generally currency's looking not too bad. We're much better for alchemies and orbs of binding now. Got a few tainted currencies. We have a tainted divine teardrop, which I've never had drop in trade. Raises or lowers the tier of each modifier on a corrupted item. It could be good for a gamble. And then we're left with 1 fusing. So that's kind of it for the gear, currency, what we've had drop in the tree. And that pretty much covers off the video. The only thing I'm not sure of now for this build is I think DPS is still lower than I'd want it to be. So I'll need to think about whether we sacrifice some life and some armor to run 2 wands to get much more minion damage. But at the moment, I'm happy with the shield version. I do feel once I get the gems qualityed and leveled again and get an animate guardian in play, then I think we can start farming the conquerors and Sirus, and then, you know, decide where we go from there. Maybe start farming guardians to do shaper and elder, and really just see where it takes us from there. But that pretty much covers what I wanted to go through. The showcase will follow, but until next time, take care and see you in the next video.
When I'm ready and not before. when I'm ready and not before.
what this tower can really do. Not let them reach the purification pump!
You must think me a fool.